Hi, I'm John.
I'm Luke.
They let us do a podcast together. Do you remember when you and I were just doing YouTube Shorts? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Did you think that that would end up being a spot where they'd be like, man, these two guys are great. Let's launch a podcast?
I really thought, yes, that a lot of my deep Russian history takes would come back to help us out.
This is Luke Hansen. He is the CEO of CompanyCam. I'm John Talman. I'm just a content creator. Hi, Luke. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Luke.
Do you
CEO
like long
of
walks
CompanyCam.
on the beach?
I like the beach. I don't like long walks, period. Really,
yeah.
I don't know, hiking. It's not my thing. I have a wonderful wife. I have 3 kids, 2 wonderful kids.
Yeah.
No, I like all my kids. I'm currently building a house, which I'm excited. I'm not like pounding nails.
Are you building it out of Bitcoin?
I'm not doing squat. I'm a nerd, Bitcoin nerd. What else? I don't know. I like to golf.
You have a great mustache.
Yeah. Oh, I bought one of your guitars.
You did buy one of my guitars.
And I play it occasionally, not particularly well. Hey, that's a nice segue.
That is.
John,
yes.
tell us about your son.
I will. I have 3 kids. I am also married. I am not building a house.
But you're building guitars.
But I'm building guitars in the house that I live in. What else do I like to do? I also like to play golf. I like to get tattoos. I run other YouTube channels.
Hey, we're not going to shill this app on this podcast, but we should shill your guitars. We should sell. John's guitars are nice. No, they play really well. Better than they should for how ugly they are.
Wow.
No, hold on. How long have you been making guitars?
2.5 years? 3 years?
Oh, you're relatively new to it.
Well, I used to fix other people's guitars. And then a roundabout way during COVID, I was fixing my uncle's guitar. Sent it to a shop, didn't really do it great. And I was like, I could do this better. And then a guy's like, hey, could you build me one of these? I'm like, sure. Hey, could you build me one of these? Sure. And then pretty soon I sold one to a thoracic surgeon in Maryland on the internet.
That's how people get into contracting.
It is. Yeah, kind of the same way. So that's us. Next question. Do you like me? Check yes or no.
What is happening?
Our goal is essentially to unravel what does it mean to be a good contractor? Running a business, doing the jobs. What does it mean to be authentic and trusted and transparent? And that means having on real contractors, people in the space or people that serve the space, to which Luke and I are going to ask them important questions, not just about, hey, how to grow a business, but more about how do they perceive being a good contractor.
And then at the end, we get a judge. Are they a good contractor? And we do the thing. And we go
I don't know
no,
if that's part
not.
of the Let me take a quick note. Luke wants to vote them out of contracting. Okay, I got that down. No, but this is a way for us to serve the space that we serve. Luke, you and I have talked about long game versus short game. That always made me think about the way you look at being a good contractor or doing good business or doing anything. So for you, define what it means to be a good contractor.
You have to be able to do the work well or get the work done.
Yep.
I mean, you can be on time, answering emails, showing up, but if you can't actually do the work properly or you don't have people that can, you're not going to be a good contractor. So to me, that's like the ground level. You got to be able to do the work. You got to be able to do it well. Then it's, can you be trusted to do what you say you're going to do? I talk to people all the time. It's like, they didn't show up. They didn't call me back. They didn't it's just so much of this, like, doing what you say you're going to do.
Yep.
There's always a way to make a little extra money right now, or like there's some little scam. I always think of the Seinfeld episode where George is getting his car worked on, and he's like, I don't know, Jerry, they said I need a new Johnson rod. It's like that when you're the contractor, you know something about the system, like the HVAC system, the water heater, the roof, and most people, we don't know about all of that stuff. Right. And we're going to take your word for it. And we're sort of in your power in a sense, unless I call 3 different people or, and that's actually how people solve this problem a lot of times. I got to get 4 people over here just to make sure that they're not full of it and I can just get a fair deal on this thing. And so a good contractor is the person that you can call, they're going to take care of it. You believe that they'll do the work. They're going to do it when they say they are. That they're going to be like honest with you about things that you don't know. You can have that be one experience without having to call 5 people or make it all very complicated. And on their side, they're saying, yes, I could, scam is a strong word. I could try to get more out of this
Cut a
than I
corner?
sort of deserve. Yeah,
Yeah.
like cut a corner, do this.
Yep.
But like,
Yep.
I'm playing the long game, and the long game is trust.
Right.
Like when people trust you, they will keep calling you back. You will keep doing better and better. And how do you build that trust over time? I mean, I think it's relatively straightforward, but it's also not easy. Like it can be, in a sense, simple to understand, very hard to do in practice.
Whether or not contractors are good or they're average, in the way that we're talking about it, who cares? Like, I may cut a few corners here or there. What is the advantage? Like, what does it matter? Who does it impact?
I mean, look, when things work, we live in this world of specialization where we know relatively little. Like, if you dropped any of us, like, in the forest or something, we're dead inside of 24 hours. We just don't know a whole bunch of stuff. We don't know how our car works. We don't know how to fix our own roof. We just don't know. So we rely on everyone else.
Right.
And when we can trust those people, then things keep working. Like our life is easier, their life is easier, and like the system can just roll. It matters in your daily life, in your experience, when you feel like there are reliable, good contractors that you can trust to solve your problem, because they're just in a position that it can go very wrong. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of people where it's like, I got all this material delivered over here. I paid half up front, and last I heard of them, like that, it can put people in a really bad spot when it doesn't work right. And so, I don't know. I could talk a lot about this whole sort of trust in society.
I feel like this is also something you learned from your dad and working in his roofing company and the way he did things. Can you talk about that? Was he a good contractor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he was a good contractor. That means that like we, the people working for him, were accountable upwards. Like we were worried about the customer, but like we didn't want to get in like trouble and have problems because we weren't living up to what the expectations were of like solving the problem, taking care of people, et cetera. But especially like in roofing, there's all sorts of ways, whether it's insurance company, there's just ways of doing things that can make you more money right now, or cut a corner, or we don't want to fix this because we wouldn't make as much money on this job, versus that are short-term thinking. And I just watched him over time, every time, do the thing that will be good for us and the customer over the long term, which is like doing it right, making sure they're happy, even if we screwed up, even if we're not going to make money on this job.
Yeah.
And I watched it work. Like people trusted us. And I could tell when I would be sitting in someone's living room, convincing them that they should use us to roof their house versus the next company. And my best part of my sales pitch was like, look, I know that we're the best in town. You don't know that. And you take my word for it. I'm trying to sell you a roof. What I will promise you is that if something goes wrong, which it can, we're going to work very hard that it doesn't. Like, we will not leave here until this is right. We will not change our phone number. You will be able to get a hold of us. We will show up. And I promise you that by the time this thing is done, it is going to be right. And you will know that from talking to other people that have worked with us, from reading the reviews, that is a fact. And I don't think that some of these other people will be able to tell you that. And that...
Which you have to prove that, because they can...
It is.
Yep.
But it matters. If we were talking to Sean Van Dyke.
Yep.
And he was saying, he's trying to build houses for people who are building their second house. Like they built a house at one point, and so they know the experience and they know how painful it is. And therefore, I can explain to them how much better this is, because if it was just someone building their first house, they don't even know how hard and painful and everything this is. And I think of that in a lot of these projects. If it's your first time, then that sales pitch about trust and being a good like all of that,
it's the number,
you really haven't felt the pain yet.
It's the number one thing I constantly ask contractors when I ask them about, what's a good contractor, blah, blah, blah. I said, do you have to go through the brick wall of poor experiences that had nothing to do with you? You've got to get through there and go, no, I'm different. No, I'm different. Same thing you're doing in that living room pitching a roof, going, I know you don't know me, but I'm different. That's the thing they have to get through. Okay, let me ask you this. We're going to have a variety of guests. And there's some going to be on here that are names people know. Some are going to be not. But the stories are certainly unique and interesting. Having the ability to ask a lot of different people in a lot of different trades and different parts of our space that we serve What are you most interested in finding out about?
Selfishly,
Yeah.
like leadership stuff.
Interesting.
Any one person can handle themselves. Like if they're well put together and they're organized and they're going to do the right thing and they know how to do the work. Okay, great. You just go do it.
Right.
Then as you grow and you get more people, like here we have 250 people, some of our customers have more than that, but you end up with managing people, and it's not as simple as just like deciding something and saying it and then assuming that it's all going to happen. The actual process of leadership and operating something and managing people is, well, it's interesting to me, and it's a problem, it's something that I can just take something from.
Yeah.
And I think it's key to like what makes people a good contractor, because I don't think you get to become bigger and still be a good contractor unless your sort of leadership, operations, like incentives. And again, I don't even know what all the variables are there for them, but that's what I want to try to understand. Putting it into practice day after day as you hire people, as your team grows, as you do more jobs. Like, how do you do that? How do you lead that operation?
Yeah.
I want to hear that story.
For me, I'm just going to selfishly say I love to hear about how somebody started the business and got through the rocky points, because there's always that initial thing of going from 1 to 3, 3 to 5. What were you doing before this? What was your plan before this? Did you wake up one day and go, I'm going to get into plumbing, or I'm going to be an electrician, or was there an interesting pathway there? What is going to be most unique is, as I'm setting up some of these guests, I'm leaving you in the dark a little bit, because I like to hear when people hear this for the first time. If I happen to know their stories, it's really fun to watch somebody hear, wait, you did what to get into this? So part of it is, leaving Luke completely in the dark. Last question that's really important is, are you looking forward to doing the podcast with me, or would you prefer that somebody else stepped in?
Man, I have begged for a replacement. And I don't know. This is like to get to that leadership question.
Yeah.
Like
I have poor leadership.
I seem to be ineffective in replacing you on this podcast.
Right.
And so, I don't know. It's one of those things, you've made your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think us learning from these people is going to be fun.
Some of these folks may have never heard of what we do on a daily basis to pay the bills, and some may, but that's the other fun part, is that it could be all walks of life. And some have a part in the industry where they affect contractors, or they work with contractors. They may not be in the traditional sense, like out turning the wrench.
Oh, okay. So it's not all contractors.
There could be a variety of things. It's all a surprise, Luke. You never know what's coming.
I'm excited to meet them virtually.
They're not going to get into discussions with you about like tech things, or they don't want to hear about the Apple Vision. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, right. You don't know that.
All right. So where can you find this? You can find this anywhere you get a podcast. You can find this on YouTube. If you don't want to look at us on YouTube, you can get it on places like Spotify, et cetera. When are they going to be coming out? Every other week? We will have...
It's like payday.
Yeah. And I don't know how many episodes we're going to have, but I'm going to say 80, because I like to aim high. So
I'm pumped.
Yes.
I'm excited.
All right. Here comes season 1 of Good Contractor.